Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not watching my sister's kids on my birthday after her husband's brother had a car accident? Hey, this happened a couple days ago. My family is still angry and demands an apology. My sister was using me as a free babysitter for a very long time, from when I was still living with my parents until now. So I organized a one-night camping trip for a couple of my friends in a nearby forest. As I was getting ready, she rang a doorbell. She said her husband's brother had an accident and she had to go to the hospital. I would have to watch her kids again. I said no. After a bit of arguing, she went. She had to stay at home with the kids. I had a nice camping trip. Now, when I came back, my family was angry about this and that I didn't help my sister when she was in need. If you're wondering, in our country it is legal to hang out in groups of 5. Was I the a-hole because I had an option to upset my friends again or to refuse being a free babysitter for the first time? Please let me know what would be a better choice if I did something wrong. Thank you. You're not the a-hole, OP. It sounds like you were really looking forward to spending time with your friends and enjoying your birthday with them. It sucks that your sister had an emergency at that moment, but she should have tried to find someone else to look after her kids. Since it was your birthday, and asking you to stay would have been a bit unfair and inconsiderate. You have also been her babysitter for a while. I think your sister is an a-hole for being mad at you because you could not help her this one time when you had a good reason for not being able to. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. She could have hired a babysitter if she was that badly needed at the hospital. Also, why didn't she ask your parents? You had something planned for a long time for your friggin' birthday. I don't get why so many people think their siblings are free babysitters required to be available 24/7 with no life of their own. By the way, happy belated birthday, and I hope your sister's brother-in-law is alright. Not the a-hole. It sucks to be taken advantage of in most cases. Yes, there was an actual emergency this time, but what was your sister's plan if you weren't home when she got there? At the very least, she should have called and asked before showing up on your birthday, a day when I would assume someone isn't readily available. Also her husband's brother, not her husband. You're justified in not uprooting your plans after your sister had no consideration for you. Not the a-hole. She could have phoned so you could have both had discussed it and so you could have considered it. But instead, she turned up on your doorstep without warning, which was clearly a move to pressure you into accepting the role as babysitter. Yet again, yes, it was an emergency, but I'm sure she has neighbors, and feeling that your parents could have driven down to her place and stayed there with her kids while she went to the hospital. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not telling my sister about my winnings? To preface, I won just under £3 million on the lottery over 2 months ago. The NL have been extremely helpful and supportive and gave me lots of financial advice, and I've taken it all on board. When I chose to remain anonymous, I did tell my little sister about the winnings, pretty much the second the money hit my account. I still haven't told my mom. I know for sure she would tell everyone she has ever met that I won the lottery, and that is absolutely not what I want. Me, my sister, and mom all live in a small house owned by my older sister. We all used to live here together for many years until my sister bought a house with a partner. We pay her rent, a very small amount, and we pay our own utilities. My sister has always hoped she can eventually sell this house to us, but neither me nor my little sister have ever had the money. My little sister has a secure job but not very high paying, and I am a casual worker, so getting a mortgage would be hard for me. After winning, I decided to look for houses that we could move into, ideally one with a large kitchen and garden for my mom, and finally found an amazing place not far from where we live and put in an offer that was accepted. Yesterday, I finally developed the nerve to tell my older sister. I was afraid if I told her earlier, she would tell her partner, which I really did not want, about the money and that we're buying a house and she can sell off this house now if she wants. She went apoplectic. I have never seen her so angry in my whole life. I genuinely thought she would be happy that we are finally stable, but she kept screaming at me about why I left it so long to tell her about the money. She eventually stormed out and has been sending me texts about how disappointed she is in me and why I would tell my little sister over her. I love my sister, but our relationship can be strained. Sometimes it would feel like we should be more grateful to her since she owns our home and we pay very little in rent. And she has said to my face that she does so much for our family and we should show a little gratitude. She also does not get along with my little sister, which further complicates things. I would have been happy to pay off the mortgage for the house we currently live in, and she could always use it as an investment if she wanted. Now I really feel bad about everything. No a-holes here, OP. I understand why you would want to keep your lottery win a secret even from your family, but I also understand why your sister is upset. You did tell someone in your family. You told your little sister. You just didn't tell her. That might come across to her like you don't trust her enough or you don't feel close to her enough. I think this is a little issue and it can be resolved if you both sit down and talk about everything again. Congratulations on your win, OP. I really hope you're able to enjoy it and create a better life for your family like you want. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. You were receiving preferential treatment from your sister because she thought you were poor and needed the help. This was fine when true, but after you won the money, you continued to benefit from her now misconception. You didn't need to tell her the amount, but you should have let her know you won a fair amount and asked what she thought of your plans, since your plans affect her as your landlord. Would you feel betrayed? You're the a-hole. When you were in need, your sister helped you, with no foresight that you would ever be in a position to help her. And despite how you feel about her, which she probably knows. But now you're in a position to at least alleviate her of the burden she's taken on to support you and the rest of your family, and you decide she's someone you can't trust, I'd be more than livid too. No a-holes here. No one is entitled to know straight away. You did the right thing keeping it quiet while you got your head together. And good on you for thinking about ensuring your mom and sister were looked after first. However, you need to make good with your sister to ensure she is reasonably compensated for the months you stayed in her house while you were a millionaire. I hope you can sort out this tiff with your sister, as she has been kindly supporting you guys while you were struggling. You all sound like good people. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my family that I was a bitter kid because of how they treated my sister? I'm 22 and female and have a half-sister who is 26 in May. I've always been bitter about how I grew up because my mom and my sister's dad spoiled her rotten. It was a contest between my mom and sister's dad to see who could spoil my sister the most, which led to me not getting to do much of anything, because mom spent more money on my sister than me. For example, I was in middle school and planning on taking a band. My sister was in high school and had a trip to some place for a week. Mom decided to spend a good few $1,000s on my sister going on that trip. And when I needed money to rent an instrument for a band, I got told I was shit out of luck. It was like this for pretty much everything in my childhood. It was also like this when it came down to college. The other day, I was video calling my mom and sister, and mom was talking about how bitter I was as a child. I made a passive-aggressive joke that it was because of what my mom did while I was a kid. My sister asked what I meant by that, and I laughed and asked her how she didn't know. She still didn't get it, so I basically said, "You got to do everything you wanted as a kid, and mom made sure you never went without. Even though your dad would have had you covered, but I always went without." My sister and my mom got mad at me. My mom said I was a brat and didn't deserve half as much as my sister got because of that, and my sister told me I was just hateful. I told them that they made me feel worthless in comparison to my sister because of that, and that it was embarrassing to have to grow up with my sister who's being handed everything on a silver platter. And then there's me who got nothing. I also brought up the fact that my mother decided it would be a good idea to pay for my sister to go to an Ivy League college and refuse sister's dad's help, and that she basically told me I was on my own when it came to my college. I also brought up the fact that my mother's planning on paying for my sister's wedding and asked her if she would do the same for me. They hung up, and then later I got a text from my sister saying that I was an a-hole and that she would never speak to me again. Am I the a-hole for telling my family that I was a bitter kid because of how they treated my sister? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. If I was you, I would do 2 things. 1. Make a letter or email giving them examples of how they cheated on you out of things. Don't be rude, be polite. Allow them to read it and give also the most recent examples of favoritism. 2. Get therapy. Being treated like that can really F you up. Maybe family therapy would be a great thing. Definitely not the a-hole. Familial favoritism can really F a kid up. My older brother was the favorite. I would suggest writing everything down in a really clinical way. Maybe even in table form, a column for you, a column for your sister. Then list everything your mom provided for both of you or just one of you. Give them both the list and ask them if they can honestly say they don't think there was any favoritism. If they double down, I would remove yourself from that situation and get some therapy. If they realize their mistake, hopefully they'll apologize. But still, get some therapy if you can. Not the a-hole. The fact your sister sent that text makes me think she knows about the difference in treatment. At least now she does. And she doesn't want to acknowledge it. If she can make you go away, disown you, she can pretend it never happened. The fact your sister was treated heavily differently makes me think there is more to the story. Not that you are intentionally leaving something out. Have you looked into the cause of first marriage ending? Maybe through the father's side of it. Affair? Also, what DNA testing for yourself? Just to know that side of your family. Maybe they would like to know about you.